Yo, shalom, shalom. You are listening to the voice of Brother Judah. And brothers, I just want to give some advice to the young brothers, anyway, the brothers my age. You know, I'm 26, so the brothers that are 26, 25 and younger. You know, brothers, when we step into this knowledge and when we get the understanding of who we are as a people, and we turn back to the law, statutes, and commandments of our power, the Most High, and turn back to the faith of His Son, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, we automatically assume that the woman that we're dealing with at the time, when we come into this knowledge, is going to turn back and repent the way that we did. And we always come into a rude awakening, for the most part, that our woman refuses to do what the Most High expects of her. And, you know, we always stress ourselves out. We wonder why. Why is it so difficult? Why is it so easy for us to turn back, but it's so difficult for her to turn back? And brothers, we have to understand that in this society that we are in this current captivity, the woman is put on a pedestal. And by her being put on a pedestal, she doesn't believe that, first and foremost, she needs a man to regulate her actions. And second off, that the God that she serves is her opinion for the most part. So even in this knowledge, we would start to see that, you know, our sisters would say certain things like, oh, well, my husband can't do this and my husband can't do that, and I would submit if. And, you know, they start to lay out all these rules and regulations. And I see that, you know, it starts to frustrate brothers. But what I'm getting at is, brothers, if the woman isn't your wife that you see making these demands, bro, ignore her, leave her alone. And even if it's your woman, you know, when you step into this knowledge and you see that she's not aligning herself with the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High and the demands of the Most High, bro, at first, I'm gonna keep it real, bro. 9 times out of 10, it's probably not gonna work. But this is what I will tell you, brothers. Distance yourself from your woman. Stop giving her so much attention. Focus on the Most High. Get nose deep in the book. Study Proverbs. Study Ecclesiasticus. Study Ecclesiastes. Read about what happened to Vashti and Esther when she disrespected the king's demands. Hell, read about Eve in Genesis chapter 2, where we see where Adam was born first and he was given the commandment in Genesis chapter 2 verse 16 of how he shouldn't eat from the tree of knowledge, and when he do, he would die. And when you read in chapter 3, you would see that Eve told the serpent that she shouldn't even touch the tree unless she died. So Eve understood, but all she needed to hear was something to tickle her fancy. All she needed was something that sounded good to her, and she was all in to eat from the tree. Or we can read in 1 Ezra chapter 4, where the king explains how great men perish and they sin and they go rob and steal and bring it all back to the woman. So brothers, what I'm getting at is for us to be strong men, like Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 3 says, give not thy strength unto a woman. When we're in this knowledge, brothers, we have to step up. We have to gird up our loins like men. No effeminate will make the kingdom of the Most High. The Most High is not going to allow any weak brothers to rule with him, period. So what we have to do as men is step up, brothers. Step up. Don't be scared to lose women. Don't be scared to lose your woman. It is what it is. If it's not meant to work out, it isn't going to work out. Once we come into this knowledge and understand that we can't celebrate holidays and birthdays and Valentine's Day and, you know, Christmas and all that bullshit, then we start to see our woman's true spirit. And for the most part, they can't handle that. They refuse to accept that. So I'm going to dive into a few scripts to give brothers some understanding and some knowledge and some wisdom, and see how the book is never wrong. So the very first script that I'm going to start off with is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. And it reads, as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. So we understand that the Most High has a people, the Israelites. But who does the Most High deal with? So let's go to Ezekiel chapter 34 and verse 31, and then we're going to deal with Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12. So verse 31, it says, "And ye, my flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord." Now watch this, brothers. Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 4. It says, "Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man." So we see that the Most High, he deals with the man specifically. And you know, sisters would say, okay, well, what about Miriam? Or what about Deborah? Do you have the works of Miriam and Deborah? Hell, the brothers are still trying to get it right. So when you see sisters asking those questions or making these claims, it's funny. It's funny. But no, brothers, the Most High is dealing with you if you allow him to, if you humble yourself down. So when we go back to Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 12, it says, "As for my people, children are their oppressors." So when we think about the so-called black community, who is causing all the ruckus? It's the young bucks. It's the young boys, the teenagers. They're cutting up. They're turning up. But then it says, "And women rule over them." Brothers, we have to turn back to the Most High. And we have to humble ourselves down to the Most High, so our women can humble themselves down back to us. We have to gain knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. We have to get our backbones back. We have to get our nuts back. And we have to turn back and be men. And if the woman doesn't want to deal with that, have a nice life. See you. It is what it is, brothers. But women rule over us. And as I mentioned earlier, Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3, it says, "Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings." Don't do it. Do not do it. Gird up your loins, brothers. Gird up your loins. And check it. We love beautiful women. The Most High put the women on the planet to be our helpmeet and for us to enjoy them. We love beautiful women. We cannot help it. Matter of fact, when we go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 and verse 22, it says, "The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance, and a man loveth nothing better. And if there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue, then there is not her husband like other men." So we love beautiful women, beautiful, silent, meek women, caring, gentle. We love it. Soft hands, they smell good. Brothers, I get it. But we still have to understand that a woman is a woman and she has to be moderated 24/7. Because if we leave our women to themselves and to their thoughts, hell, they'll tell you, "Babe, sometimes I'm a little bipolar." "Babe, do you think I'm crazy sometimes?" But it's the truth. It's the truth. And in order to deal with the woman, a great level of patience has to be exercised daily. And we have to scrutinize the woman daily. And of course, we have to scrutinize ourselves every day and make sure that we are on point and that we are in order with the Most High. But in order for the woman to be in order with the Most High, she has to be in order with us, right? I mean, that's scriptural. When we go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and read verse 3, it says, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is the Most High." So we see here that the Most High has an order. And when we jump to chapter 14 and read verse 40, it says, let all things be done decently and in order. And when we jump to Ephesians chapter 5 and read verse 22, it says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Now, sisters will say, well, he's not my husband. Right? But we know in ancient Israel that there wasn't any single mothers and baby mamas walking around. That wasn't how it worked. So in a perfect world, this would be beautiful. But in this society, brothers, we have to understand that even if we know the book, and we know for a fact that our woman knows that verse, they have a hard time adjusting, brothers. And they got the spirit of Eve on them. It is what it is. So like I said, you have to deal with them with a great level of patience. But like it says, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. So brothers, what does the Most High expect from us? Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. It says, and now Israel, what doeth the Lord thy God require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is the Lord's thy power, and the earth also with all that therein is. So in a nutshell, do everything that the Most High says and love him with all our heart and all our soul. Serve him. Our woman is supposed to serve us and fear us and reverence us and love us with all their heart and all their soul. But like I said, brothers, in this society, that is not the case. The woman is on a pedestal. She expects you to serve her and you to love her with all your heart and all your soul. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying you're not supposed to love your lady. Bro, you're supposed to love your lady and caress her, be gentle with her. She's a female, she's a woman. But at the end of the day, you have to put your foot down when necessary and be a man and stop letting these women rule over you. And as I mentioned earlier, brothers, I know that we love women. I know that we love to look at beautiful women, but that could be a roadblock as well. We have to always look at people for their heart, for their character. And being beautiful is just a plus. It's just icing on the cake. So when we go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 9 and read verse 8, it says, turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, for herewith love is kindled as a fire. So brothers, we have to understand that many are deceived by beautiful women. Matter of fact, let's go to Proverbs chapter 7. And watch King Solomon drop that game. So Proverbs chapter 7. And I'm going to start at verse 6. Matter of fact, alright, I'm going to just jump. So verse 2, it says, keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Verse 4, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, and from the stranger which flattereth with her words. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youth, a young man void of understanding, passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way to her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with the entire of an harlot and subtle of heart. So hold on. Let me jump back to Ecclesiasticus right quick. Ecclesiasticus chapter 9 and verse 3. It says, Meet not with the harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. So back to Proverbs chapter 7. Verse 10, it says, And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot, and subtle of heart. She is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. Sounds like a clamorous woman. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face, and said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee diligently, to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, and carved works with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with love. For the good man is not at home, he is gone on a long journey. So when you jump back to verse 7, it says, And beheld among the simple ones, I discern among the youths a young man void of understanding. So when we jump back to Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 32, it says, But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. Hold up. Adultery. This brother lacketh understanding. King Solomon already said it. So let's go to Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10 to see what adultery is. It says, And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. She already said her husband was gone. So when we jump back to chapter 7 and verse 19, it says, For the good man is not at home, he is gone on a long journey. King Solomon already told us in verse 7 that the young man was void of understanding. So verse 21, it says, With much fair speech she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips she forced him. So, like I was saying, man, you can't get caught up in a woman's beauty either. And if you young brothers are calling yourselves kings and trying to move like a king, then it's time to step in line and be kings. And that starts with ruling yourself first and foremost, and making sure that you are always intact with who you are, mentally and physically. And if you are dealing with a woman, you make sure that she's intact with who she is, mentally first and foremost, and physically, and that she understands that she is your possession, pertaining to Ecclesiasticus chapter 36 and verse 24. So brothers, we just have to continue to push forward, continue to get knowledge of ourselves and our history, understand who we are, understand who our ancestors truly were, and what they allowed and didn't allow. So if you know where you came from, you will know where to go and how to get there. When I tell you, young brothers, that it feels so good to understand who you are, and for your woman to understand what you are going to tolerate and what you aren't, while at the same time not being as a lion in your house and not being frantic among your servants, bro. And to see what's going on with all this turmoil that's going on around us in America with, politics the way it is, with the so-called Black Lives Matter movement the way it is. I mean, bruh, to just keep your nose out of all that bullshit and just be able to focus and always move forward and have a woman that understands that she is yours. Like Exodus chapter 20 and verse 17, where it goes into covetousness and how it says, don't covet thy neighbor's wife and his ass and his maid servant and his manservant. Bro, your wife is your possession. And bro, it just feels so good to lead. And I just want young brothers to understand that. Because we don't have to take bullshit, And I'm not saying I'm perfect, When I was, 18, 19, I had a toxic woman. And I thought I had to deal with that. So for about a year and some change, I dealt with some bullshit till I finally understood, like, hey man, nah, hell nah. This shit ain't right. Bitch, you can get to stepping. You feel me, brothers? And that feels damn good to just be a man, even when you are a young man, to set boundaries, to set standards, to set rules and regulations. You hire and fire in your life accordingly. You set those grounds. And people can respect them, or they can get to stepping. It's just that simple. Women too, the most beautiful women. They respect you more when you are who you are. When you straight up tell a woman, I'm into polygyny. What can she say? Yes or no? And if she says no, there's plenty of beautiful women who are into it. It's not a big deal. It is what it is. You don't have to lie to these women. But brothers get caught up in lying to women trying to impress them. Brother, women should be trying to impress you. And a lot of people ain't gonna like that. A lot of sisters not gonna like that. But I gotta keep it a buck. So far, you young brothers, man, I just pray y'all brothers take heed to what I'm telling you. I hope you brothers got some edification. And get in the book, Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. You feel me? Read, brothers. Revelation 1 and 3. Blessed is he that readeth. Read. Get you some knowledge and some understanding, brothers. The book is never wrong. Yo.